And who's taking this?
Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
I think
there you are.
Everyone from the team on and ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Perfect. Okay, well, we'll start. Thank you. Hey team, did you know that there's almost no compost or recycling bins at Whistler Secondary School?
What? Whistler, known to be one of the most outdoorsy and nature-loving communities, doesn't have recycling or composting bins in their high school? That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, and waste diversion can actually help minimize harmful greenhouse gases that come from landfills. We all know flying planes isn't great for the environment, but did you know that globally, landfills produce the same amount of emissions as the aviation industry?
Seriously?
Yeah, mainly because food scraps and other organic
Kate, you froze for a bit.
Oh, no.
Is Kate gone? Okay, that's fine. And looking after our environment is actually one of the guiding principles of our school district. And SD48 students are facing one of the biggest ecological and humanitarian crises of all time. So it's kind of a big deal.
But who even cares about garbage?
Actually, there's been a lot of trash talk around school. As a matter of fact, 89% of Whistler Secondary students polled said that compost and recycling were important or very important to them.
Oh, Sierra, you're so silly. It's not as simple as that. They're not COVID safe, you know. With all the contact being made handling the recycling compost bins, it would increase the risk of transferring the virus.
Clara, I totally get what you're saying. And initially, when we didn't know how COVID was transferred, it was a serious concern, and it made a lot of sense that the bins were removed. But now, over 120 scientists have signed a letter saying that reusable systems can be used safely by employing basic hygiene. And Vancouver Coastal Health has said that recycling and compost collection can be done safely as long as proper hygiene is followed.
Didn't we have a student-run recycling and composting system before COVID? Why can't we just do that again?
That's right. Before COVID, Eco Club students and Student Council students were responsible for managing compost and recycling and getting it picked up by haulers. But this program had some issues. Every year, new students had to get trained, and with the amount of high-performance athletes who were away and other commitments students had, this time commitment just wasn't feasible, and the bins would go without getting emptied, leading to fruit flies and other problems. Ultimately, this tactic was not working out, and it shouldn't be on students to manage recycling and compost. This is a responsibility.
Wait, we should implement a zero-waste school. I heard that they're super trendy nowadays.
Hold the phone. I've heard all about this over social media.
I mean, it would be pretty cool, not just for the school district, but also for the planet if SD48 became a waste management leader.
I know BC also has several bylaws that outline sustainable waste management practices, and many companies have already incorporated some of them.
Even Vail, a big corporation, set and is meeting zero waste goals.
Exactly. Are we really going to let Vail outshine us? And beyond these issues, Pemberton Secondary, Whistler Secondary, and Howe Sound are all running different programs and employing different strategies to minimize waste. To run a sustainable and effective program across the district, a standardized waste management policy must come into effect.
What would that policy even look like?
Funny you ask. Luckily, I always carry around my trusty slide deck on this exact topic. And fortunately, we just happened to send the board a presentation document outlining all of the specific policy changes that we are asking for. So let's get started and go dumpster diving into the world of trash talk.
Awesome. Let's get those slides rolling.
Next slide, please. For the past few years, diversion rates at Whistler Secondary have been reported by GFL at around 53%. However, when we dug into this data, we found some inconsistencies, and we found the real number to be 46%, assuming bins are full every time they are tipped. Based on this assumption, we believe this number to be significantly below 50%. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was getting 50% in a course, my mom would not be happy, and she would probably insist on some pretty serious changes, which is why we are here today, to ask the board for meaningful policy changes and commitments to both waste management and to a zero waste school district. Next slide.
So currently, Whistler Secondary does not have composting and recycling stations in the hallways. Instead, a majority of the waste goes into landfills, which leads to a lot of contamination of organics, recyclables, and landfill all in one bin. And prior to COVID, students were responsible for maintaining the waste management system through the Eco Club, and that was when we did have composting and recycling. And while there have been many successes through the student leadership, it's not really a sustainable long-term system. And in addition, due to the lack of resources, schools across the district have different waste management systems. So by having an overarching plan or policy, we'll be able to standardize operations across all the schools in the district.
Next slide, please. In order to establish a secure compost and recycling system within the schools, implementation responsibilities, education, commitment to ongoing support, and green procurement are required. An idea as to what this would look like is both the school faculty and students being responsible for separating their recyclables into the appropriate bins while being educated on proper waste management practices in order to prevent waste contamination. The responsibility of maintaining a proper waste system should not solely rely on the students. A secure plan regarding the financial support of purchasing materials with the consideration of green procurement will allow the school's waste system to be in line with the Whistler bylaws. Essentially, we're looking for a long-term commitment to ongoing support through the frequent waste audits, review of purchasing better sustainable materials, and keeping in touch with environmental clubs across the district. For more details, please look to page 10 in the briefing document. And next slide, please.
We're also asking the board to develop a zero waste action plan with a commitment to achieving zero waste to landfill and incineration by 2030. This would align SD48 waste management practices with the Squamish-Lillooet Regional District. This plan would outline the steps we as a district need to take to achieve zero waste. Beyond trendy, a zero waste commitment is a tangible action our district can take to mitigate climate change. It goes beyond words and calls to action and delivers measurable results that will empower students and staff to become more engaged and accountable for their actions.
All over the world, beauty of our towns. Literally, our whole economy is built on the breathtaking landscapes that we're blessed enough to have. Our student survey has reported that approximately 89% of students always or often recycle and compost at home. However, that number is reduced significantly to 44% once they're on school property, as the resources to do so are simply not being provided for. How can we promote such a nature-loving image when our public school does not even have a sustainable waste system? We should be the leaders in our province, challenging other school districts and towns to do better, be better. It's the least we can do. But the fact that we aren't even doing the bare minimum, now that does come with a certain amount of shame. Looking after the environment is a guiding principle in our district, and it's time to put SD48 values to the test. We've seen the board talk the talk, but now it's time to recycle the garbage.
Next slide, please.
So by implementing a waste management policy, we'd be aligning provincially with the sustainability education framework, which encourages the K through 12 education system to promote environmentally sustainable practices. We would also be aligning with the 2010 Sustainable Schools Best Practices Guide, which outlines the cost benefits of adopting waste reduction practices. We would also be aligning with the 2018 Clean BC climate strategy. Next slide. We would also be aligning locally with the Whistler solid waste bylaw, as well as the Squamish solid waste bylaw, and the Squamish-Lillooet Regional Solid Waste and Resource Management Plan.
Next slide, please. We're not going to lie to you all. SD48 is not a waste management or a climate leader, but we do have the opportunity to be one, and this decision should not sit lightly with you. We have demonstrated here today that other school districts, businesses, and communities can do this. So why can't we? In order to safeguard the futures of students, the culture built and fostered within the education system must shift to one of sustainability, and these needs are an opportunity to take a step in the right direction. Though not an all-encompassing solution, waste reduction is a key factor in individual action and deserves a place in SD48 policy. Today, the BC Climate Action Secretariat informed us they're partnering with the BC Ministry of Education to prepare for current and future climate changes. They also said and encouraged us to reach out to our district related to climate education, another reason we are here today. We know that budgets are tight. We know that COVID is tough, and we also know that this is not an easy task. But as students in this district, we have been instilled with a sense of empowerment and the ability to seek change where needed. So we are asking you, is the SD48 board ready to talk trash? Thank you. And we're happy to answer any questions that anyone might have about our presentation and about the briefing document that we sent as well.
Well, that's incredible. I love the work, how professional and how very true. I for one, am a little OCD when it comes to recycling and composting, so I can definitely appreciate this. I want to ask if any of the other trustees have any questions.
Rebecca, may I?
Okay, go ahead, Celeste, and then Cynthia.
Yeah, wonderful presentation. It's hard when you're on Zoom and you can't hear us clapping at the end, but you guys did an amazing job. I'd love to hear from staff at some point about what this might look like. It sounds like it might be a policy that's more of an operational policy, but certainly if the board isn't directly involved in the creation of policy, I would love to hear how students might be involved in some way to work with staff if it ends up being something in the realm of what staff would create and then bring to us.
And if I could jump in right now, Rebecca, I think this kind of piggybacks on what Celeste has just said. And I guess my question to you would be, what would the first next step you would like us to take?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess for us, it would be really great to get some feedback and also start a conversation around the document that we sent the board, just outlining those specific needs and where we think that they can come into implementation. And then in that briefing document as well, we also asked the board to draft a policy document based off those needs that would be ready for approval at the August 2021 board meeting. And then to also look at a zero waste action plan as well. And obviously that plan would be steps towards zero waste, but we would like for that to be ready for approval at the August 2021 board meeting. And then we would like specifically with the waste management policy for that to go into implementation by the end of September.
Okay, that's fantastic. I love your forward thinking. You come with a solution and you know, a timeline. Perfect. Any other trustees have any questions?
Yeah, it's Rick here, and
Hi, Rick.
Hi. I just had a quick comment, which is that I really enjoyed your presentation. I liked the fact that you didn't pull your punches when you analyzed, you know, the level of effectiveness of our district compared to what your expectations are. And the other side of that coin was I really loved hearing you say that your education has made you feel empowered to initiate change. And I regarded that as pretty darn good news, and way to go, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Lisa, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was actually going.
You guys have your mic open. Okay, Lisa, we can't hear you now. I think you muted all the mics. Anyone?
Can you hear me now, Rebecca?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. I was going to say the same thing as Rick when I heard the word empowered to do this kind of work through your learning. That's makes my heart sing, because that's the kind of idea our teachers are working so hard to provide, that kind of authenticity in the tasks that you're doing. And this paper is outstanding. You might be the only people who have ever read the board's guiding principles and quoted them in a research paper. Pretty impressed. And also duly noted, August board meeting 2021 response to the paper. We've got it noted. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and consideration. And just on the empowerment piece, big shout out to our Eco Club teacher sponsor, Miss Stapleton. She's amazing. And also this project has been run in partnership with Aware, and they've done a really amazing job with the Eco Club as well. So another big shout out to them too.
Can I, Rebecca?
Go ahead, Ian. Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, it's exciting to hear you guys get excited about it, but how long have you been working on this type of project?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, we kind of started Eco Club beginning of September, right? And we kind of were just doing our own thing. And Sierra was like, as Eco Club president, she was like, what else could we do? So she really like looked out to the community more, found Tennille. She got us partnered with these mentors. We kind of made these own groups. And within these own groups, we're able to be more empowered by our knowledge. And if you go to our school, like you'll see like there's posters for different projects that people are for. And this is just one of the groups and one of the bigger initiatives we took on as the grade 12 group. And so this has probably been a work in progress for about 5 months, Sierra. It's been a while.
Excellent.
And we've met with Arthur DeJong and Sue Maxwell and loads of our other stakeholders as well, just to keep everyone engaged in our process, which has definitely been a super incredible experience as well. We've worked with some of the bylaw team just to see how we can best be in alignment with them as a school district. So it's definitely been super empowering and an amazing experience.
Well, thank you for all your work. That is just wonderful.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to your response.
There you go.
I feel pressure.
Yeah, Ian Curry's
It's going to give it to you.
Sorry, thank you, ladies. I love the accountability piece.
Sorry,
thanks. Yeah.
Sorry, one last thing before you give them a final thank you. Can you be sure to leave us, because if you're all in grade 12 and you're leaving and going off to your separate corners of the world, could you please be sure to leave some contact information for us?
Yes, we actually have a very strong contingency plan. So there's 4 grade 11 students as well who have been involved throughout this project, and they're taking it on next year, as well as some students who are in grade 10 this year going into grade 11 next year. And we're also hoping that as we move forward in conversations with the board, we can include Howe Sound and Pemberton Secondary as well.
Excellent.
Terrific. You have it under control. Good job.
That's fantastic. So this is time to say thank you, ladies, for coming presenting. I'm super impressed with the work that you have done. You're welcome to continue with us in the rest of our agenda, and if you choose not to, I understand as well.